Hey y'all, so you mean to tell me we already on episode 3? I feel like I just did episode 1 yesterday. I'm so excited to already be on the 3rd episode. I'm so excited to share with y'all. I'm so excited to just keep going. This episode in particular is only going to feature myself, so no special guests. Sorry to disappoint. In the near future, we will have more special guests, but for this topic in particular, I wanted to come on here by myself because it is going to take a lot for me to come on here and just be really vulnerable and really transparent about the topic at hand. Grief isn't an easy topic to talk about, but it is a topic that I feel like a lot of my friends can relate to, and a lot of people that I know and a lot of people that I don't know. Grief is one of those things that unfortunately all of us most likely have dealt with it in some way or fashion, even if it wasn't directly. So I do want to go ahead and put the trigger warning out that it is going to be about grief. It is going to be about depression, death, and all those kinds of things. I do want you to listen even if you don't have a death in your family, because as I'll talk about later, it is important to realize grief is not only for people who have died. So what is grief? I would say that grief is basically a natural response to someone's disappearance. I want to say disappearance. I don't want to say death, because you can grieve people who are alive. A lot of people do not realize that, but somebody does not have to be, dead for you to be grieving them. You can grieve a friend. You can grieve a relationship. You can grieve a job. You can grieve a hobby. You can grieve anything like that. It doesn't have to be something that's dead, but it is something that has disappeared. So for all my psych majors out there, I know that y'all know the 5 stages of grief. So the 5 stages in grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Bargaining is the one that a lot of people are like, what is that? It's kind of like one of those things where, oh, it should have been me, take me, they come back, those kind of feelings. Those are responses that are natural. Like, even though it can come off as suicide ideology or it can come off as depressive thoughts, it's normal to feel that way when something or someone that has been held near and dear to your heart, that you really care and love, has gone missing or has disappeared or is no longer accessible to you. When you lose things that you love and care about and you can no longer access them, it's normal to feel denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then eventually acceptance. Acceptance will come. Acceptance will not come at the same time for everybody. So there is no right or wrong advice to give somebody for grief, in my personal opinion, because everybody's stages are different. I feel like everybody won't even go in the stages in order. You may feel depression before you feel anger, or you may go straight to bargaining and then denial, or you may go straight to acceptance without realizing that you haven't accepted anything. You just bottled it all up. Grief is something that we really do need to start taking more serious, because when you bottle emotions up, especially emotions that are considered negative, like anger, sadness, anxiety, things like that, when you bottle those things up, they come back out. They come out. You can't keep everything inside. No matter how long you're able to do it, eventually it's going to overflow, and you're going to exude all of that negative energy into the real world, into people who you care about still, people who are still around, and into energies that you don't want to bring that into. It's really important to check your energy. Like, your energy is very, very much important, because your energy is one of those things that when you walk into a room, somebody else is going to come and approach you and going to come give you an opportunity, or it's going to come give you advice. There has been so many times where, because I've had good energy, or not even just good energy, because I had energy that was like, you can tell something's wrong, or you can tell something's heavy on her mind. Sometimes I've had energy that was so distinct that people have wanted to come over and talk to me. People have wanted to come over and give me advice. People have wanted to come over and give me offers, job offers, opportunities, volunteer opportunities. Like, you just never know who is in that room. So I just really need us to start being more mindful about how we carry ourselves in a room, because how you carry yourself in a room will definitely determine what room you walk into next. So like I said before, y'all, I hate to disappoint, but I honestly don't have any good advice for grief. If I had to give advice, I would say grieving advice is to not look for grieving advice. Period. Like, I don't think that there's anything anybody can tell you. You just have to feel what you feel. You just have to go through the feelings and the emotions. You have to actually let yourself feel that. You have to actually let that out. For me, the hardest thing about grief is how quickly you have to move on. I could say that hit me personally when my brother passed away, Khalil. We went to his funeral in Tennessee, and I was in school at this time at Valdosta State, and it was crazy because I had just bought my first car. I drove all the way to Atlanta to see my sister, and then, caught the plane to Tennessee. And it was one of the times that I saw all my family, or most of my family, and it had been a long time, y'all. It had been a long time since I seen my family, and a great big part of that was my fault. And I couldn't to this day, like, I just couldn't deal with the guilt, and I couldn't deal with the emotions of feeling like a big portion of it was my fault. I had a lot of regret. I have a lot of regret because now he's gone. And there were so many times where he wanted me to come see him, or my family wanted me to come do family things. And now I don't even have the opportunity to say no because I can't. That hurts. That hurts more than anything. It hurts that I can't take it back. It hurts that I don't even have a good reason as to why I wouldn't come see this man. He was an amazing person. Like, he never told anybody that we were stepsisters. He never told anybody that we were related by marriage. No, none of that. We were just family. It wasn't nothing else to say. Family was family to him. And it was just really sad because 3 days after I lost my brother, I lost my friend Travis. So for me, grief hit back to back. And I didn't even have time to process one before I was processing the other. I didn't even have time to go to one funeral before I had time to process that there was another. Like, I was just very all out of whack. And there was nothing that nobody could tell me to make me feel better. So I just think that for me, right after finding out that they passed away, I had to go back to work, or I had to go back to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go back to being somebody's sister, somebody's friend, somebody's daughter, somebody's cousin, aunt, niece, uncle, nephew, whatever. You have to go back to living your life, when in reality, it felt like everybody's world was still spinning, but mine was just so still. I just felt like everything was moving around me, but I was frozen. I couldn't do anything. And I feel like that's a feeling that a lot of people feel. And I want people to be able to talk about this. I want people to be able to put those feelings into words, because if you don't, it really will eat you up inside, just as it has eaten me up. I tell y'all these things because I really have gone through it, and I really have experienced it, and I really have seen other people, my family, my friends, other people experience it, and it's real. Like, it's real. And we have to talk about it, because if we don't, who is? We gonna act like it's not something important, and it really, really is. Death is serious. Death comes and is inevitable. So we need to know how to deal with it. We need to know how to process it. We need to know how to talk about it, because it's something that we cannot avoid. So I know that I said I don't necessarily have any grieving advice, but I do have words of encouragement and words of empowerment First, I want you to know that you are not alone and that you should never feel alone. I want you to also know that you can let it out. Let all those emotions out. Let all those words out. To me, your family, friends, a hotline, journal it, whatever you need to do, let it out. Especially men. I know men think that just because they're man, that they can't be sensitive, sassy, whatever it is that you want to call it. First of all, letting out emotions don't make you sassy. It doesn't make you sensitive. None of that. It makes you human. So please let your emotions out. Please don't bottle it up inside, because it's not going to do anything but hurt you in the long run, hurt you in the short run. It's not going to do nothing but hurt the people around you. So please take the time to just really care about yourself enough. Care about yourself enough to let yourself be human and let that stuff out. Another thing is, please keep their name alive. I know for me, this one was hard. I didn't want to talk about them. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to do any of that because it made me sad. It made me angry. It made me feel emotions that I didn't want to feel. But I found that talking about them and their memories and their stories, my brother and Travis, it really helped, because I didn't want their story to be buried as well. I didn't want their memories to be buried as well. I didn't want my emotions to bury them emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still want their names to be alive, because I feel bad for the people that didn't get to meet them. The world deserved to know them. You know what I'm saying? And they deserve to know the world. Like, they had so much life, you know, and I'm sure we feel that way about all of the people that we lost. So just make sure that you keep their name alive and don't let your emotions bury them. And then last but not least, like I said before, I had a lot of regret not being more family oriented in my past life. And I say my past life because I'm changed now, and I'm changing. I'm changing every day. I'm trying to become a better person than I was. And I really feel like it is important to know how your family's doing. Technology is too advanced for us to not know how our mom, dad, brothers, sisters, uncles, and all that. It's no good reason for us not to know how they're doing, or how they're living, or how they're feeling. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to be every day. It don't got to be every week. It don't even got to be every month. But every now and then, you know, take the time out your day to send that text. Take the time out your day to call, because that can really change their life. That can really give them that reassurance. I know we say what's understood don't got to be explained, but I feel like whoever came up with that is some nonsense. Reassurance is needed. You know what I'm saying? People need to know that that person is here for me. Sometimes people need that little extra push. Sometimes people need that little extra love. So if you love that person, tell that person. You care about that person, let that person know. Check on that person, because, you know, you never know when you won't be able to. And one thing I've learned is, I'm not sure if it would have made me feel better, but I like to think that if I did better, I would feel better. And, you know, if we have the opportunity to do better, we need to do that. So now that I know better, I do better. And now that I know better, I want to share with other people so that they can also do better, because life is too short and we got to try our best to get it right. So you mean to tell me that this is the end of the episode? This concludes episode 3, y'all. This was a really hard one to record, might I say. But I really am glad that I recorded it. I really am glad that I took the time to be open with y'all. I wasn't as open as I planned on being, but, you know, I tried to share as much as I was comfortable with sharing, as much as I could to really, you know, get the message across. I do want y'all to know that I meant what I said. My DMs are always open. Anybody needs to talk. Anybody wants to share anything with me, teach me something, teach each other something, like help each other out during the process. I'm definitely here. Grieving is something that you definitely can do alone, but shouldn't have to do alone. And I'm always down to be a part of anybody's village that wants to go through that journey. So as always, thank y'all for listening. I really do appreciate you for tuning in. If you like the video, share the video. Let me know what you think. Comment, repost, all of that other good stuff. And I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Bye.